Bird builds a nest in a stranger's car, and the driver's reaction is unforgettable. In a bustling city where dreams often felt out of reach, a young girl named Mia discovered an unexpected friend in the most unlikely of places. Mia was a 10-year-old with a wild imagination and a heart full of curiosity. She lived in a small apartment with her mother, who worked long hours as a nurse, leaving Mia to navigate the world mostly on her own. The city was a cacophony of sounds and sights, a place where the concrete jungle often overshadowed the beauty of nature. Yet, Mia found solace in the small park near her home, where she would escape to watch the birds flit about, their songs a sweet melody against the backdrop of honking cars and bustling pedestrians. One sunny afternoon, as Mia sat on her favorite bench, sketching the birds in her notebook, she noticed a small, scruffy sparrow hopping around the park. Unlike the other birds, this one seemed unafraid of humans, darting close to where Mia sat. Its feathers were ruffled, and it had a determined glint in its eye. Mia named it Pip, feeling an instant connection to the little creature. She began to bring crumbs from her lunch to feed Pip, who quickly became a regular visitor. As the days turned into weeks, Mia and Pip formed an unspoken bond. She would talk to him about her day, her dreams, and her fears, and Pip would chirp back as if he understood every word. Mia often wished she could take Pip home, but she knew that birds belonged in the sky, not in a cramped apartment. Still, the thought of Pip made her feel less alone in the big city. One day, as Mia was leaving the park, she noticed a commotion near the parking lot. A crowd had gathered around a shiny blue car, and Mia's curiosity piqued. She approached the scene, her heart racing with anticipation. As she got closer, she saw that the crowd was pointing and laughing. To her astonishment, perched on the windshield of the car was Pip, busily gathering twigs and leaves, completely oblivious to the chaos around him. Mia's heart sank. The car belonged to a stranger, a man in a crisp suit who looked furious. He was pacing back and forth, gesturing wildly as he tried to shoo Pip away. "Get off my car, you little pest!" he shouted, his voice rising above the laughter of the onlookers. Mia felt a surge of protectiveness for Pip. She knew he was just trying to build a nest, but the man didn't understand. "Leave him alone!" Mia shouted, stepping forward. The crowd fell silent, and all eyes turned to her. The man paused, his expression shifting from anger to surprise. "What did you say, kid?" he asked, his voice softer but still laced with irritation. "He's just trying to make a home," Mia replied, her voice trembling slightly. "He's not hurting anything." The man looked at her, then back at Pip, who was now tugging at a piece of string that had caught his attention. The man sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I don't have time for this. I need to get to a meeting." He glanced at the crowd, clearly annoyed by the attention. "Can't someone just scare it away?" Mia felt a pang of sadness for Pip. "What if we let him finish? He'll be gone soon, and you can wash your car later." She could see the man's frustration, but she also sensed a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. "Fine," he said reluctantly, crossing his arms. "But if he doesn't leave soon, I'm calling animal control." Mia nodded, her heart racing. She knew she had to do something to help Pip. "I'll keep an eye on him," she promised, feeling a surge of determination. The man rolled his eyes but stepped back, allowing Mia to approach the car. As she got closer, Pip looked up, his beady eyes meeting hers. "Hey, little buddy," she whispered, crouching down. "You're going to be okay." She watched as Pip continued to gather materials, blissfully unaware of the chaos he had caused. The crowd began to disperse, some people chuckling as they walked away. Mia stayed, her heart swelling with pride for Pip. She felt a connection to him, a shared understanding of what it meant to be brave in the face of adversity. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the park, Mia knew she had to leave. "I'll be back tomorrow, Pip," she promised, standing up and giving him one last look. "Just keep building your nest." With that, she turned and walked home, her mind racing with thoughts of Pip and the strange man in the suit. Little did she know, this was just the beginning of an extraordinary adventure that would change her life forever. The next day, Mia returned to the park with a sense of purpose. She had brought a small bag of breadcrumbs and a few twigs she had collected from her backyard, hoping to help Pip with his nest. As she approached the parking lot, her heart raced with anticipation. Would Pip still be there? Would the man in the suit return? To her relief, Pip was perched on the same spot, busily arranging twigs and leaves into a makeshift nest. Mia smiled, her heart swelling with affection for the little bird. She set her bag down and crouched beside the car, careful not to startle him. "Hey, Pip, look what I brought for you," she called softly, holding out the breadcrumbs. Pip paused, tilting his head as if he understood. He hopped down from the car and flitted over to her, pecking at the crumbs with enthusiasm. Mia laughed, feeling a rush of joy at their growing friendship. She spent the next hour watching Pip, feeding him, and even helping him gather materials for his nest. As she worked, she noticed the man in the suit walking toward the car again, his expression a mix of annoyance and curiosity. "You're back," he said, crossing his arms. "I thought I told you to leave that bird alone." Mia looked up, her heart pounding. "I'm just helping him. He's building a nest, and it's really important for him to have a safe place." She gestured to Pip, who was now tugging at a piece of string. "See, he's just trying to make a home." The man sighed, his expression softening slightly. "I get that, but I can't have him ruining my car. I need it for work." Mia felt a surge of empathy for both Pip and the man. "What if we find a way to help him without bothering you? Maybe we can set up a little area nearby where he can build his nest safely?" The man raised an eyebrow, clearly taken aback by her suggestion. "You really care about that bird, don't you?" Mia nodded earnestly. "He's my friend, and I think he deserves a chance to be safe." After a moment of hesitation, the man uncrossed his arms. "All right, kid, I'll give you a chance. But if he comes back to my car, I'm not going to be happy." Mia beamed, feeling a rush of triumph. "Thank you. I promise I'll keep an eye on him." With that, she quickly gathered some twigs and leaves from the park and set up a small area near the edge of the parking lot, away from the car. The man watched, his expression shifting from annoyance to curiosity as Mia created a little sanctuary for Pip. Over the next few days, Mia continued to visit Pip, bringing him food and helping him gather materials for his nest. The man in the suit, whose name Mia learned was Mr. Thompson, began to warm up to her and Pip. He would occasionally stop by to check on them, his demeanor softening as he watched the little bird thrive. One afternoon, as Mia was feeding Pip, she noticed a group of children playing nearby. They were laughing and running around, their joy infectious. Mia felt a pang of longing. She wished she could join them, but her heart was with Pip. "Hey, Mia," one of the children called out, waving her over. "Come play with us." Mia hesitated, glancing at Pip, who was now perched on her shoulder, chirping happily. "I can't. I have to take care of Pip." The children exchanged glances, clearly confused. "What's so special about that bird?" one of them asked, rolling his eyes. Mia felt a surge of protectiveness. "He's my friend, and he's building a nest. You wouldn't understand." The children laughed, and Mia felt a wave of frustration wash over her. She wanted to explain how Pip had become a part of her life. How he listened to her when she felt lonely, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, she turned away, focusing on Pip, who seemed to sense her distress. "Don't worry, Pip," she whispered, stroking his feathers gently. "We'll always have each other." As the days passed, Mia and Pip's bond deepened. She began to share her dreams with him, telling him about her hopes of becoming an artist and traveling the world. Pip would chirp in response, as if encouraging her to chase her dreams. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the park, Mia noticed something unusual. Pip was acting restless, flitting back and forth between his nest and the nearby trees. "What's wrong, Pip?" she asked, concern creeping into her voice. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed through the park, a car horn blaring, followed by shouting. Mia's heart raced as she turned to see a group of teenagers racing through the parking lot on their bikes, laughing and yelling. Pip took off, darting into the air, his tiny wings flapping frantically. "Pip!" Mia cried, reaching out as he flew away. The teenagers didn't seem to notice the little bird, and Mia felt a surge of panic. "Come back!" But Pip was gone, lost in the chaos. Mia's heart sank as she watched the teenagers zoom past, oblivious to the danger they posed. She turned to Mr. Thompson, who had also witnessed the scene. "We have to find him," she exclaimed, her voice trembling. Mr. Thompson nodded, his expression serious. "Let's go. We can't let him get hurt." Together, they searched the park, calling out for Pip. Mia's heart raced with fear as she imagined all the terrible things that could happen to him. "Pip, where are you?" she shouted, her voice echoing through the trees. After what felt like an eternity, they finally spotted Pip perched on a branch, his tiny body trembling. "There he is!" Mia cried, relief flooding through her. But as she reached out to him, Pip took off again, darting away from her grasp. "No, Pip, come back!" Mia chased after him, her heart pounding in her chest. She could see him flying toward the edge of the park, where the trees thinned out and the street loomed beyond. "Pip, please," she begged, desperation creeping into her voice. Just as she thought she had lost him for good, she spotted him again, this time hovering near a bush. "Gotcha," she exclaimed, lunging forward. But as she reached for him, a loud car engine roared to life nearby, and Pip took off again, this time heading straight for the street. "No!" Mia screamed, her heart racing as she watched him fly toward danger. In that moment, everything seemed to slow down. Mia felt a surge of bravery wash over her. "I have to save him," she thought, her instincts kicking in. Without thinking, she dashed toward the street, her heart pounding in her chest. "Wait, Mia!" Mr. Thompson shouted, but she didn't stop. She couldn't let Pip get hurt. As she reached the edge of the street, she saw Pip hovering near a parked car, his tiny body trembling with fear. "Pip, come here," she called, her voice breaking. Just then, a car came speeding around the corner, and Mia's heart dropped. "No!" she cried, her voice filled with panic. In that split second, she made a choice. She lunged forward, arms outstretched, determined to save her friend. Time seemed to stretch as Mia lunged toward Pip, her heart pounding in her chest. The world around her faded into a blur, the sounds of the city drowned out by the rush of adrenaline coursing through her veins. She could see the car approaching, its headlights glaring like a pair of angry eyes. "Pip!" she screamed, her voice filled with desperation. In that moment, everything else fell away. All that mattered was saving her little friend. As she reached out, she felt the wind whip past her, the scent of gasoline and asphalt filling her nostrils. She was almost there, just a few more steps, and then, suddenly, A strong hand grabbed her arm, yanking her back just as the car sped past. Mia stumbled, her heart racing as she turned to see Mr. Thompson, his face pale with fear. "What were you thinking?" he shouted, his voice a mix of anger and concern. "You could have been killed." Mia's heart sank as she realized how close she had come to danger. "I had to save him," she cried, tears streaming down her cheeks. Pip was in trouble. Mr. Thompson's expression softened as he looked at her, and he released her arm. "I know, but you have to be careful. We can't lose you too." Mia wiped her tears away, her heart still racing. She turned back to the street, searching for Pip. "Where is he?" she whispered, panic rising in her chest. Just then, she spotted him again, perched on a nearby fence, his tiny body trembling. "Pip," she called, relief flooding through her. "Come here, buddy." Pip hesitated, his beady eyes darting between Mia and the street. He seemed to sense the danger but was also drawn to her voice. "It's okay, Pip, you're safe now." With a flutter of wings, Pip took off, flying toward her. Mia held her breath, her heart in her throat as he swooped down, landing on her shoulder. "You did it," she exclaimed, her voice filled with joy and relief. "You're safe." But the moment of triumph was short-lived. The sound of sirens echoed in the distance, and Mia turned to see a police car pulling into the parking lot. "What's happening?" she wondered aloud, her heart sinking again. Mr. Thompson glanced at the approaching vehicle, his expression serious. "I think they're here for the teenagers," he said, his voice low. "They've been causing trouble in the park." Mia felt a mix of emotions, relief that Pip was safe, but also fear for the teenagers who had scared him. "They didn't mean to hurt him," she said quietly, her heart aching for the reckless kids. As the police officers approached, Mia felt a surge of protectiveness for Pip. She didn't want anyone to take him away or blame him for what had happened. "I have to explain," she said, determination filling her voice. Mr. Thompson nodded, his expression supportive. "I'll be right here with you," he promised. Mia stepped forward, her heart pounding as she approached the officers. "Excuse me," she called, her voice trembling slightly. "I need to talk to you about the bird." The officers turned to her, their expressions curious. "What bird?" one of them asked, glancing around. "The little sparrow. He was just trying to build a nest, and the teenagers scared him." Mia explained, her voice rising with urgency. "He's my friend, and I don't want anything to happen to him." The officers exchanged glances, clearly taken aback by her passion. "You're saying the bird was in danger because of the kids?" one of them asked, his tone softening. "Yes. They didn't mean to hurt him, but they were being reckless," Mia replied, her heart racing. "I just want to make sure he's okay." The officers nodded, their expressions shifting from skepticism to understanding. "All right, we'll make sure the bird is safe," one of them said. "But we need to talk to those kids about their behavior." Mia felt a wave of relief wash over her. "Thank you," she exclaimed, her heart swelling with gratitude. As the officers moved to speak with the teenagers, Mia turned to Mr. Thompson, who was watching her with a mixture of pride and concern. "You were really brave back there," he said, his voice low. "Not many kids would stand up like that." Mia shrugged, feeling a blush creep into her cheeks. "I just couldn't let anything happen to Pip," she admitted, glancing at the little bird perched on her shoulder. "He means a lot to me." Mr. Thompson smiled, his expression softening. "I can see that. You've formed quite a bond with him." Just then, the officers returned, and Mia's heart raced again. "We've spoken to the teenagers, and they understand the seriousness of their actions," one of the officers said. "We'll keep an eye on the park to ensure nothing like this happens again." Mia nodded, feeling a sense of relief wash over her. "Thank you so much," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. As the officers walked away, MIA turned to Pip, who was now preening his feathers, seemingly unfazed by the chaos. "You're a little fighter, aren't you?" she said, smiling at him. Mr. Thompson chuckled, shaking his head. "You both are. I think you've taught me a thing or two about bravery today." MIA beamed, feeling a sense of pride swell within her. "I just wanted to protect my friend." As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the park, MIA knew that this day would be etched in her memory forever. She had faced her fears, stood up for what she believed in, and saved her friend. But as she looked at Pip, she realized that their journey was far from over. There were still challenges ahead, and she was determined to face them together. "Let's go home, Pip," she said softly, her heart full of hope. "Tomorrow is a new day, and we have so much more to explore." With Pip nestled safely on her shoulder, MIA walked home, her spirits soaring. She knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, she and Pip would face them together, their bond stronger than ever. The next morning, MIA awoke with a sense of purpose. The events of the previous day replayed in her mind like a vivid dream, and she felt a renewed determination to protect Pip and nurture their bond. As she got ready for school, she glanced out the window, hoping to see her little friend flitting about in the park. After breakfast, MIA hurried to school, her thoughts consumed by Pip. She couldn't wait to return to the park after classes and see how he was doing. The day dragged on, each minute feeling like an eternity. When the final bell rang, MIA bolted out of the classroom, her heart racing with excitement. As she arrived at the park, she scanned the area for Pip. The sun was shining brightly, and the air was filled with the sounds of laughter and chatter from other children playing nearby. But her heart sank when she didn't see Pip right away. "Where are you, buddy?" she whispered, anxiety creeping in. Just then, she spotted Mr. Thompson sitting on a bench, a newspaper in hand. He looked up and smiled as she approached. "Hey, MIA. You're back. Have you seen Pip?" she asked, her voice tinged with worry. Mr. Thompson nodded, pointing toward the trees. "He's over there, gathering more twigs. I think he's almost finished with his nest." Mia's heart soared with relief. "Really? That's amazing." She rushed over to the spot Mr. Thompson indicated, her eyes scanning the branches. And there he was, Pip, busily working on his nest, his tiny body darting back and forth as he collected materials. "Pip," MIA called, her voice filled with joy. The little bird paused, looking up at her with bright eyes. He chirped in response, as if acknowledging her presence. MIA crouched down, watching him with admiration. "You're doing such a great job," she said, her heart swelling with pride. "I'm so glad you're okay." As she sat there, she felt a sense of peace wash over her. The chaos of the previous day seemed to fade away, replaced by the simple joy of being with her friend. She pulled out some breadcrumbs from her backpack and scattered them on the ground. Pip hopped down, eagerly pecking at the crumbs, and MIA laughed, feeling a warmth spread through her. "Do you think you'll be ready to fly soon?" she asked, watching him intently. "I can't wait to see you soar." Pip chirped again, and MIA felt a flicker of hope. She knew that soon, he would be ready to leave the nest and explore the world beyond the park. But the thought also filled her with a bittersweet sadness. She had grown so attached to him, and the idea of him flying away made her heart ache. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the park, MIA felt a sense of urgency. "I want to make sure you're safe, Pip," she said softly. "Maybe we can find a way to keep you close." Just then, Mr. Thompson approached, a thoughtful expression on his face. "You know, MIA, I've been thinking about what you said the other day," he began, his tone serious. About helping that bird find a safe place. MIA looked up, intrigued. What do you mean? I think we could create a little birdhouse for Pip, he suggested, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Somewhere nearby, where he can feel safe and still be close to you. Mia's heart raced at the idea. That would be amazing! He could have a home right here in the park. Mr. Thompson nodded, a smile spreading across his face. I can help you build it. We can gather materials and make it sturdy enough to protect him from any dangers. MIA felt a surge of excitement. Yes, let's do it. Over the next few days, MIA and Mr. Thompson worked together to build a small birdhouse. They gathered wood, nails, and paint, and MIA poured her heart into the project. She decorated the birdhouse with bright colors and cheerful designs, hoping it would attract Pip and make him feel at home. As they worked, MIA shared her dreams with Mr. Thompson. I want to be an artist one day, she said, her eyes shining with passion. I want to paint the world and show everyone how beautiful it is. Mr. Thompson listened intently, nodding in encouragement. You have a gift, MIA. I can see it in the way you care for that bird. You're already creating something beautiful. MIA felt a warmth spread through her at his words. Thank you. That means a lot to me. Finally, the day came when the birdhouse was complete. MIA and Mr. Thompson carefully placed it in a tree near Pip's nest, ensuring it was secure and safe. This is your new home, Pip, MIA called, her heart racing with excitement. Pip perched on a nearby branch, watching them curiously. I hope you like it, she said, her voice filled with hope. As the sun began to set, MIA felt a sense of accomplishment wash over her. She had created a safe haven for Pip, a place where he could thrive and be protected. But as she watched him, she couldn't shake the feeling of sadness that lingered in her heart. Will you still come to visit me? She whispered, her voice barely audible. Pip chirped softly, and MIA smiled, feeling a flicker of hope. I'll always be here for you, buddy. As the days turned into weeks, Pip began to spend more time in the birdhouse. MIA would visit him every day, bringing him food and watching as he flitted about, gathering materials for his nest. She felt a sense of pride knowing that she had helped create a safe space for him. But as the weather warmed and spring blossomed around them, MIA knew that Pip was growing stronger. She could see him practicing his flights, his wings gaining strength as he soared higher and higher. Each time he took off, Mia's heart swelled with joy, but also with a bittersweet ache. She knew that soon, he would be ready to leave. One afternoon, as MIA sat on the bench watching Pip, she noticed something different about him. He seemed more confident, more adventurous. He was no longer just gathering materials. He was exploring the branches, testing his wings, and chirping excitedly as he flew from tree to tree. Look at you go! MIA cheered, clapping her hands. You're getting so strong. Pip landed on her shoulder, chirping happily as if to say thank you. MIA felt a rush of warmth at their connection. I'm so proud of you, Pip, she said softly. You're ready for the world. But as the days passed, the reality of Pip's impending departure weighed heavily on her heart. She had grown so attached to him, and the thought of him flying away filled her with sadness. What if you forget about me? She whispered one evening, tears brimming in her eyes. Pip chirped softly, nuzzling against her cheek. In that moment, MIA felt a wave of comfort wash over her. She knew that their bond was special, and no matter where Pip flew, he would always carry a piece of her with him. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the park, MIA made a decision. I want to celebrate your journey, Pip, she said, her voice filled with determination. Let's have a farewell party. With renewed energy, MIA began to plan a small gathering in the park. She invited Mr. Thompson and a few friends from school, wanting to share the joy of Pip's journey with those who had supported her. On the day of the party, MIA decorated the area with colorful streamers and balloons, creating a festive atmosphere. She baked cupcakes and brought along a small cake, eager to celebrate Pip's new adventure. As her friends arrived, MIA felt a sense of excitement bubbling within her. "We're here to celebrate Pip," she announced, her voice ringing with joy. The children gathered around, their eyes wide with curiosity. "Is that the bird you've been talking about?" one of them asked, pointing to Pip, who was perched on Mia's shoulder. "Yes, he's my best friend," MIA replied, her heart swelling with pride. As the party unfolded, laughter and joy filled the air. MIA shared stories about Pip's journey, how they had met, and the bond they had formed. Her friends listened intently, captivated by the tale of bravery and friendship. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the park, MIA gathered everyone around. "It's time for Pip to take his first flight," she announced, her voice filled with excitement. With a mix of anticipation and sadness, MIA gently placed Pip on the edge of the birdhouse. "You're ready, buddy," she whispered, her heart racing. Pip looked around, his tiny body trembling with excitement. Then, with a flutter of wings, he took off into the sky, soaring higher and higher. MIA watched in awe, her heart swelling with pride and bittersweet joy. "Go, Pip, you can do it," she cheered, her voice ringing through the park. As Pip flew, MIA felt a sense of freedom wash over her. She knew that this was just the beginning of his journey, and she would always cherish the memories they had created together. As the last rays of sunlight faded, MIA turned to her friends, her heart full. "Thank you all for being here," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "This is a celebration of friendship and bravery, and I'm so glad I could share it with you." The children cheered, and MIA felt a warmth spread through her. She had faced her fears, stood up for her friend, and created something beautiful. And as she watched Pip soar into the sky, she knew that their bond would last forever. As the last light of day faded into twilight, MIA stood in the park, her heart a mix of joy and melancholy. She watched Pip soar higher and higher, his small figure silhouetted against the vibrant hues of the sunset. It was a breathtaking sight, one that filled her with pride and a bittersweet ache. She had nurtured him, protected him, and now he was free to explore the world beyond the park. "Goodbye, Pip," she called, her voice carrying on the gentle evening breeze. "I'll always be here for you." As Pip disappeared into the horizon, MIA felt a sense of closure wash over her. She had given him the gift of freedom, and in doing so, she had also discovered something profound about herself. The bond they shared had taught her about bravery, love, and the importance of letting go. Mr. Thompson approached her, a warm smile on his face. "You did a wonderful thing today, MIA," he said, his voice filled with admiration. "You showed everyone what it means to care for another being." MIA turned to him, her eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you for helping me build the birdhouse and for being there for Pip. I couldn't have done it without you." He chuckled softly. "You're the one who inspired me. You have a gift for bringing people together, and I think you'll do great things in life." MIA felt a rush of warmth at his words. "I want to be an artist and share stories like Pip's with the world," she said, her voice filled with determination. "I want to show everyone how beautiful nature is and how important it is to protect it." Mr. Thompson nodded, his expression serious. "That's a noble dream, MIA, and I believe you can achieve it. Just remember, every small act of kindness can make a big difference." As they walked back toward the park entrance, MIA felt a sense of hope blooming within her. She had faced her fears, stood up for her friend, and created a safe haven for Pip. And now, she was ready to embrace her own journey, one filled with creativity and compassion. In the days that followed, MIA continued to visit the park. Her heart forever changed by her experience with Pip. She would often sit on the same bench, sketching the birds and the vibrant life around her. Each time she heard a familiar chirp, she would look up, half expecting to see Pip returning to visit her. Though he never did, MIA felt his presence in every flutter of wings and every rustle of leaves. She knew he was out there, exploring the world, and that their bond would always remain. One sunny afternoon, as she sat sketching, a group of children approached her, their eyes wide with curiosity. "Is that the bird you were talking about?" one of them asked, pointing to a small sparrow that had landed nearby. MIA smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "Yes, his name is Pip, and he's my best friend." The children gathered around, eager to hear her story. MIA shared everything: how she had met Pip, the challenges they faced, and the joy of building the birdhouse. As she spoke, she could see their eyes light up with wonder, and she felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. "Can we help you build a birdhouse too?" one of the children asked, excitement bubbling in their voice. Mia's heart raced at the idea. "Absolutely. We can create a whole bird sanctuary right here in the park." With renewed energy, MIA and the children began to gather materials, laughing and chatting as they worked together. They painted the birdhouse in bright colors, each child adding their own unique touch. As they finished, MIA stepped back to admire their work. The birdhouse stood proudly among the trees, a testament to their teamwork and creativity. "This is amazing," she exclaimed, her heart full. Just then, a familiar chirp echoed through the park, and Mia's heart skipped a beat. She turned to see a small sparrow flitting toward them, landing on the edge of the newly built birdhouse. "Pip," she whispered, her breath catching in her throat. The little bird hopped closer, tilting its head as if to say hello. MIA felt tears of joy welling in her eyes. "You came back," she cried, her heart soaring. The children gasped in delight, their faces lighting up with excitement. "Look, it's Pip!" they shouted, pointing at the bird. MIA laughed, her heart swelling with happiness. "Yes, he's back." As Pip perched on the birdhouse, MIA felt a sense of connection that transcended words. She knew that their bond was special, and that he would always be a part of her life. In that moment, surrounded by laughter and joy, MIA realized that her journey was just beginning. She had discovered the power of friendship, the importance of compassion, and the beauty of nature. And as she watched Pip flit about, she knew that she would continue to share her love for the world with others, inspiring them to protect and cherish the extraordinary connections that exist between humans and animals. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the park, MIA smiled, her heart full of hope and wonder. She had learned that bravery comes in many forms, and that sometimes the greatest adventures begin with a single act of kindness. "Let's keep building, everyone," she called to the children, her voice ringing with excitement. "There are so many more birds that need our help." And with that, MIA embraced her new journey, ready to create a world filled with beauty, compassion, and the extraordinary bonds that connect us all. Thanks for joining us on this journey with our furry champions. If you enjoyed this heartwarming story, don't forget to subscribe to Furry Champions. Hit that like button and share with friends to spread the love for our furry friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, celebrate the amazing bond between humans and animals. See you in the next video.